Hello, Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here today. This is going to be your reading for June 2023. This is for anyone who has prominent Scorpio energy in their chart, sun, moon, and rising, or if you have any stelliums, this could also be an appropriate video for you. Thank you again for being here. If you gain any insight, perspective, truth, or just enjoy the video, I would appreciate if you press the like button. And if you are interested to follow my journey on YouTube and see more videos that I post, you are welcome to subscribe. I would be really happy and honored if you did so. So I'm recording June 3rd, 2023. This is the day of the full moon in Sagittarius. And I've been talking to the signs regarding some of the astrology that's going to happen for the month of June. So we start off today with the full moon, and this is going to bring an overall energy of enthusiasm and positivity, high energy levels, and we may find ourselves being really interested in foreign beliefs or new concepts, learning something new, maybe finding a new hobby or interested in a new topic that we want to dive into and learn more about. It also represents the energy around travel and getting away to places that, we've really maybe never been to, or, a place where they have a completely different way of living, something like that. For you, this is falling in your second house, especially for you Scorpio risings, but just in general, this full moon usually brings topics around your money, your finances, the things that you value, what is important to you when it relates to where your money goes and what you do with your money. Does it add anything to your life? Is there an investment when you are spending that money, right? So things to think about, throughout the month. And then June 18th, we do have a new moon in Gemini coming through. And this is going to fall in a place that has to do with other people's money. So as we start off the month, you may be thinking about yourself and where your money is going, what you're doing with it. And then while you are maybe planning things out or organizing those things for yourself, mid-month, June 18, new moon in Gemini comes through. And then you start to think about, okay, I have thought about how I am showing up with my money, but now I'm looking at my surroundings and my environment with the people around me. Is my money being affected in any way by them? And if these are close relationships, then you also want to start to think about, especially like a partner, somebody that lives with you, maybe a roommate, people that pay something with you. Then you want to think about, where's their money going? And, is it adding to the overall good of a situation that you yourself are involved in? And so this is usually a partner, okay? So other than that, that new moon in Gemini is falling in a place of the sky that has to do with intensity, passion, depth, the topics that people really stay away from. Overall, it's like the mysticism, the occult topics. And this is just because this part of the sky brings up a underlining uncomfortableness. So, anything that can make people uncomfortable, right, is going to start to bubble up and show up for you. Maybe there is something that you do. And so, once this new moon in Gemini comes through in the middle of the month, Gemini being an energy of, verbalizing and articulating and communicating something, you may be communicating and showing up in a way that is a little off-putting to others that are not used to your type of energy, maybe. This new moon in Gemini is also squaring Neptune in Pisces. So this is a really For you, okay, this is a good energy. Just because Pisces is your sister sign, it's also a water sign. And this is going to bring a level of fantasy, intuition, the mystical, the romanticizing a situation even. So maybe you'll find yourself connecting with someone who brings this side out of you, this fantasy romantic side out of you, and you are going to communicate with them and connect with them in a really deep, passionate, intense way, like that yummy Scorpio stuff that you like to, that type of dynamic that you like to have with others. I think that if somebody does come through at the mid-month, toward the end of the month with this new moon in Gemini, you may find yourself having these types of conversations with these types of people that, are really out of this world in some way. They have a different way of thinking, a different type of mindset that is, you find yourself very curious about them and wanting to be more involved with them and see what they're about and where they're coming from. And, and so I think for a Scorpio, that is really fun energy to work with. It's nothing too serious. And I think that, because this new moon is falling in the 8th house, it is your home, right? The house that you rule. So mid-month, even if you are not coming in contact with someone like that, you're still going to be in a quote-unquote home state environment, where you're comfortable being you, doing your thing, that type of stuff, which I think it's a great energy for the rest of the month. So that's enough about the moon cycles. Overall, right now at this time of year, there's a lot of activity happening in your relationship sector. This is not only your romantic relationships, but just relationship in general. And there's a sense of, how are others showing up? And I understand like the balance between both, like how am I showing up into relationships? But with this energy, because it is in the relationship zone, it is more how are others showing up for me, and kind of reevaluating that a little bit. Jupiter is here in the 7th house for about a good year, and it just recently came into Taurus in your 7th house. So the idea of relationship, there is a high possibility that you will probably meet new people. If you are not already in an established relationship, then you may meet someone new this coming year. Or if you are in an established relationship, you may find that there is some sort of blessing and enhancement to your relationship this year as well. You may be communicating about relationship right now that Mercury is here as well. And I want to say tomorrow, actually, June 4th, Mercury does come into contact with Uranus and Taurus. So there is some sort of breakthrough that is going to be happening around relationships at this time of the week. And there could be a plan put into place, a compromise, reaching a middle ground here and strategizing something for the sake of moving forward regarding you and another person. And then going into June 11th, Mercury is going to move from that energy, and it's going to be trining Pluto. So here we have an energy around philosophy and maybe looking into that mental breakthrough or that breakthrough that you had with the person, and seeing how, whether or not that plan or that compromise you made was beneficial to you or useful in any way. And if it's not, then there's an opportunity for you to reevaluate that plan or that compromise. Let's see what else may be coming through. I think that's good for now. If anything does come up in the cards that relates to some of these aspects that I see here for the month of June, then I'll bring them up then. So let's go into your personal energy for the sign of Scorpio, please, for June 2023. What does Scorpio's overall energy state look like for this month? We have the Ace of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and the Three of Swords. There's a balance, or a balance here around the mind and the heart. There's a need for clarity, direct communication, and not being stuck in your head. There's also an energy around fantasy or illusion of some sort. An illusion of pain. An illusion that something is going to be painful. An illusion that you are heartbroken. So it's like mentally, the Ace of, okay, so let's just break down the cards. So the Ace of Swords is clarity. At the basis of its energy, it's clarity. So with clarity brings truth. You have the Seven of Cups that could be illusion, but it also could be a sense of options. And like this little dreaminess where you are looking at the different options and then playing out stories in your head around those options. And I also just felt like because you may be playing around with stories in your head about options, are you breaking your own heart with these stories? But other than that, be clear about something. The month of June is asking of you to clear your mind and find your truth about a situation. Even if that comes with some sort of heartbreak. If you're stepping into the month of June already heartbroken, then there's a need here for you to focus more on your thoughts, because your thoughts are what drives your emotion. So you continuously think about all of the reasons why, all of the scenarios that led up to your heart breaking, or to this sadness, to this loss, and you just continue to play them out in your head, then of course you're going to continue to be in this energy of being sad or hurting because of something, instead of changing those thoughts into productive type of thoughts where, and I understand I'm not trying to be insensitive, but you know, the thing already happened, and changing your thoughts into the lesson of why it happened. What is it? What was that situation that broke your heart? What was it there to teach you? And then finding some grace and some gratitude around that to help you get out of the heartbreak. But there's illusion happening. Maybe something is not how you perceive it to be right now. And again, there's a need to be clear. Okay? Let's see what's in your environment. Sorry. Not those. Please tell me what's in the environment of Scorpio. This could be a person or situation that's showing up. that is making some sort of impact in your overall June energy. We have the 10 of Cups. The Justice card. And the 6 of Swords. So in your environment, there is emphasis on your emotional fulfillment. The 10 of Cups is a beautiful card. It talks about love. Essentially, the basis of the card is love. Love of self, love of family, love of another, love of life. And overall, we are feeling really emotionally fulfilled. The Justice card coming through is telling us, or you, that there is a need to find some sort of balance. The Justice card is also a karmic card. So the situation that you find yourself in could be destined in a way of like, I mean, it's impacting to your overall emotional fulfillment of in some way. Finding the lessons here as well, as I was talking about earlier. And in your environment, there is something that you need to get away from. The 6 of Swords talks about getting away from a mental situation, a psychological, behavioral situation, like moving away from it. Because the card before that, which is the 5 of Swords, that talks about our toxic behaviors, essentially. And so if the 6 of Swords is coming out, it's telling me that you may have gone through a moment where you were exuding, or someone in your environment was exuding some sort of toxicity with their behavioral actions. And there's a need to get away from that. In your environment for the month of June, something comes up. A karmic situation comes up that emphasizes the fact that you are looking for emotional fulfillment and you want emotional fulfillment. And it's also emphasizing the need to get away from behaviors that do not suit you or others to get away from their behaviors that don't suit you, and find the lesson in this, the how to do this. If it's another person coming through, they're coming to show this to you. And if it's not another person and it's just your environment, I think that you are starting to realize with this heartbreak here and this loss and the need to be really clean and clear in your mind, that it is emotional fulfillment that you really want, and looking for the lessons as to why you don't have it. And then anything that is preventing you from having that, you're ready to move away from that. Let's get more information around other situations, possible energy situations or people that may be coming through for Scorpio for the month of June. All right. The Chariot. Wow. The Chariot and the High Priestess. The King of Pentacles. These are some heavy players, Scorpio. and the Ace of Pentacles. So going into June, there is a sense of, I am on the right path. I am following my higher self. This is divine guidance coming through. The High Priestess is your higher self. This is so powerful. I mean, both of these cards, the Chariot and the High Priestess together, it's like it's like somehow, some way, you have spoken to the universe, like one-on-one, personally. Maybe it's through a dream, or through a vision that you have. Just using your intuition altogether. I mean, the intuition is already super strong with the Scorpio. But because the High Priestess is here, it's just completely emphasizing this right now, coming into the month of June. And there's a sense that you are on the right path, or like right path, but like you're on a path, you know, and this path is leading you to, it's like strength in the ethereal realm. And you are actualizing this power into the material realm. You're following your gut. You're following your instincts. You have a really, really strong relationship with your higher self, with your spiritual side, with the universe. Look at how this light is coming out of her gut, right? Like, and she's like just flowing with it. Like if there's anything that is coming in between you and following your destiny, it's absolutely not allowed. Like, you don't have any room, and you are not entertaining anything else that does not feel like it is right. It's like you have someone comes in, and then you kind of scan it and feel it out. If there's any doubt there, it's like, nope, you know. And then another situation comes in, you scan it, and if there's any doubt, no, right? Like, there's no budging around that right now. Like, you know, you're onto something, and it's super strong, and you are actualizing this and alchemizing this into the earthly realm, into the material realm. And you are creating opportunity here for abundance. It's like the in and out, that as within, so without, blending together. Your strength and your power within yourself is going to start to show itself in the material world. What a way to start off this month of June. If you are not listening to your intuition right now, there is a strong need to do so. The universe is trying to get your attention really loudly. You have the Four of Wands. The Five of Cups. The Knight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords. Well, this is a mental blockage over here. And Jupiter, that's Jupiter sextile Saturn. Saturn's coming into play like in the middle of the month. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because we're talking here going into the middle of the month energy. And it looks as though all of this power and divinity and you being on your path and like this enthusiasm for alchemizing the spiritual ethereal into the physical material realm, all of this sudden has a stop. There's a halt here in the middle of the month. And astrology wise, in the middle of the month, there is some type of blockage that comes through because Saturn is coming into play with Mercury, and it's also going to come into play with Jupiter between the 15th and the 19th here. And so there is some sort of block, emotional block with the Five of Cups that could lead to some sort of conflict here with the Tower. It has to do with some other people, with your home. There's a sense of like celebrating something. And instead of being happy about this celebration, the Five of Cups shows up. And when we have the Five of Cups, this is talking about I'm not going to say this word and intend it to mean literal, but there's like mourning. Okay, like when you are mourning something that you've lost, it doesn't mean a literal mourning, like you're mourning a death of someone. This is like mourning a loss of a situation, of something that you had, something you were in, that usually would have been a positive energy and a reason to celebrate, is now not looking like that anymore. There is something that makes you feel sad about this thing, this positive situation. And I think it has to do with some type of communication. We have the Knight of Swords. This is the type of person that is very direct, very honest, to the point, a little assertive, could be aggressive when pushed. In their mind, like very mental energy. And there's like this need to communicate, this need to be truthful, this need to be direct. I don't know why I'm doing that, but it feels like that. For the sake of breaking down some sort of feeling of being trapped, with the Eight of Voices, the Eight of Swords, this is a trapped energy. This is someone that is in their head and feels like they cannot get out of something. And then all they do is give themselves reasons why they can't get out, when all along it's just a mental thing. They're not like physically trapped. They're trapped mentally. And something happens with the conversation, because this Knight of Voices, this Knight of Swords is a person that needs to have a talk. And something happens here that breaks down this trapped energy. Someone feels trapped. And someone is going to be communicating this throughout the middle of the month, for the sake of freedom and to get out of this trapped, perceived trapped situation. I'll just watch how you communicate this to others or to the person. And if the person is coming at you this way, hopefully they watch how they are communicating with you. And then I would also just remember where you're coming from. Keep this top row as your baseline for the month of June. No matter what comes your way, no matter what distraction or, people, persons, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, no matter what comes your way, keep this as your baseline of energy and how you show up to, the different dynamics with other people and in your situations, okay? If you keep this as your baseline, then you cannot do any wrong here. And if there is something that you are the one that needs to communicate with another, come from this place. Don't come from this place of just, overthinking, being in your mind and, you know, all this stuff, like trying to shock something and get reaction, right? With the tower is an energy where the universe just like comes down and shoots a bolt of lightning into something and like shatters it and breaks it, right? On a mundane level, this is when we need to break open a part of us, right? In order to find freedom, in order to let it out, to express something. And if you've been holding on and holding on and holding on to something, and finally you break free, it's going to shock other people. And if you are in relationship dynamics with others, it doesn't have to be just love, just talking about your environment. And you have not found a productive way to express, and you're not coming from this divine, you know, place where you are in tune with your higher self, in tune with your intuition, and then you come down and you act this way, it's going to shock people. It's going to rattle the cage. It's going to stir the pot, right? However, whatever phrase you want to use. So if you do need to communicate something with someone, come from this higher place. And if somebody needs to communicate something with you, receive that from this higher place. Oops. Well, there's a reason. This is the Five of Swords. So this was the card that I was talking about that comes before the Six of Swords over here. The Ten of Wands. The Page of Emotions. And the Two of Emotions. So this is the Page of Cups and the Two of Cups. With the Judgment card at the bottom here. All right. So I don't read reversals, but when they come out and they fall out reversely, however way it happened, then that tells me that it's meant to happen that way. So you have the Five of Wands. Actually, it's not the same card. Okay. So the Five of Wands comes when there are a lot of people at play that have their own agendas and their own intentions, and they're not on the same page. And if we're talking about just you specifically, then maybe you have different goals or different things that you just want to get done, and they for whatever reason you can't find a way to align them in a way that like you can get them done in an effective way, because they may be super different from one another, but they're all like maybe different responsibilities that you have, different obligations that you have, or it could just be different ideas and goals and plans that you want to get started, but they're all so different from one another that you're finding it hard at the end of the month to align them all together to where you can get them sort of all done in an effective, organized way. And so it does feel like that could be a little burdensome or heavy or overwhelming for you at the end of the month. Like too many different parts of life that may not have to do with one another. Like sometimes we have a different part of life, but in some way it relates to another part of life, so it makes it easy. These don't relate to one another. So it's making it like, this is like a lot of work to do at the end of the month. So you just, right now, since we're just talking about you just want to organize those things at the beginning, plan your month out. Again, going back to this clarity, this need to be clear about all of your options and all of that. Plan your month out so that way you can flow with it and stay in this high vibe as you are getting your stuff done, right, throughout the month. So that way you don't feel overworked, overburdened, just like too much on your plate. The Page of Cups with the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a relationship. In the tarot community, we say that at least it's a conversation with another person about relationship. At most, it's the full-blown relationship that we're talking about, right? So there is energy around something new at the end of the month regarding a relationship. It's interesting because at the end of the month, we have this like overworked, sort of unorganized situation. And then we have new love or love of some sort. Again, I was feeling like they're not, like all of these things, they don't mix together. There's different parts of life that are on your plate this month, especially at the end, and they're just not aligning. If the Five of Wands here reversed has to do with this person and this relationship, it may be that this person is coming at you with a lot. And you may be trying to find a way to align it and blend it with your life or something like that. I'm also getting this for a small percentage of you. I'm also getting this energy around you. You can try to align all of these different aspects that this person is bringing to the table, but you're choosing not to. Like, it's a choice. Like, it's not that you can't. It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not what I want. You may not want to do that because it's just too much. You feel like this is too much. Like, let's just say we're talking about relationship now, right? Like, it's too much. Like, love shouldn't be this much. Love should be free-flowing. Love should be easy. Love should be, from the heart, not obligations and expectations. And, they need you to do this. They need you to do that. Or you need them to do certain things. And it's just this back and forth of like, what can you do for me? Or no, what can you do for me? Like, we don't go into relationship for what the other person can do for us. Like, if we choose to be in a relationship, and I think I said this with another sign, if we choose to be in a relationship, it's because we love and accept the person for who they are, not for what they can give us, right? If you're going into a relationship and you're thinking that of your person, and are they checking all the marks on your list? Like, those marks that need to be checked on your list, all of that, you need to give yourself. That's your indication that that's the stuff that you need to give yourself. You do not expect another person to come in and, satisfy this whole list of yours. Like, that's not how it works. So if you are in this type of mentality, or the other person is in this type of mentality, like, of course there's going to be some clashing. And I said this with that other reading. I don't know who it was, but there's no human being on earth that is going to satisfy every expectation that we have. That is not possible. Okay? There's a lot of things happening here that people want of other people, and they're missing the point on what love is and what relationship is. You're coming together because you are in love with the person, with the soul, as at their entirety, because there's a connection, there's a pull, an energetic, emotional, mental pull to be connected with this person and to blend with this person and, love one another, nurture one another, take care of one another. right? Not because of what they can do for me or what I want them to do for me. Like, you do for me, I do for you. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I understand, like, okay, I understand the concept of you're with somebody and you want to take it to the next level. One person doesn't want to, like, do the physical things. Like, let's just say, for example, move in with one another. One person wants to move in, the other person doesn't. To one person, the moving in means commitment. The other person, they're committed, but it doesn't mean moving in. That is a human need or want, and I get that. We can say all day we can have a conversation all day that could be societal programming as well. But if that is a standard of yours, that in order for you to feel as though you are in a committed relationship and you are in a relationship or whatever, y'all have to move in together, and the other person doesn't want to, then you have the opportunity to make a decision right then and there, right? Like, if you want to be with them or not. And depending on that decision, you have to accept the outcome. Okay? That's one, how can I say what I'm feeling? Like, that's an example of when we have a standard and that's what we want. That's what we want out of a relationship. That's what will fulfill us out of a relationship. So if this person doesn't have that same want or need, then that person is not for you. That's not your person, right? But then we have relationships or dynamics between people where they absolutely go into this expectation type of mentality of the other person needing to have this and this and this and this, like a whole list of things to do for them. I'm feeling that here as well. And I think that's what I was alluding to a little while ago. And if you're in this thing around, you know, I need this from you, like all of these different things, it's just not aligning with you. Maybe, and for some of you, I did feel like I don't want to do that. You know, maybe your partner is coming in and telling you or saying like, hey, I need you to do these things. I need you to be this way. And you're like, that's not me. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to do those things. You know, I want to be with you for you, right? Or vice versa. But there's something like that happening here. I do want to get more clarity around this Five of Wands and why it's becoming such a burden when love should just be accepting of one another and blending in with one another, flowing. The Ace of Swords. So there's truth here that needs to be said. There is an element of someone has to say their truth. Someone has to be very clear. The Ace of Swords is up here. The High Priestess. Someone has to be clear and someone has to follow their intuition. The universe is telling you something and it's trying to get your attention. The Ace of Cups and the Judgment card, again, like this one. This is making me feel like, what are you, like, coming to terms with what you want, being truthful about it out of love, something may come up at the end of the month that is going to make you feel, or like make you aware of what you want out of love, basically, which is, I mean, I guess a lot of what we were already talking about. So this feeling of I don't want to could be you not wanting to look at that, you not wanting to be clear, you not wanting to dive into, you know, those parts of your psyche and those parts of your emotions where you want to be clear on, you know, what it is that you really want. If there's a blockage there, right, that's happening, especially in the middle of the month. Why are you blocked? Like, if you're even interested in wanting to know why you're blocked, I don't know. But if you are interested and you find a blockage, then, you know, why don't you want to know what you want out of this relationship? Why don't you want to know what you want out of love? Your higher self is telling you, like I said, the universe is telling you, and it's just a choice on whether or not you're ready to dive into those things, those feelings. I mean, it's like, if I do that, then what? If you do, like, what is the hurt in diving into your psyche and your emotions and seeing, you know, your behaviors and doing that root work, that shadow work or whatever? Like, is this not something that you normally do? You know, like, I'm sure you do. I know you do. Like, I have strong Scorpio placements. If you're a Scorpio sun, Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, like, I know that you do this stuff, you know, even if you don't show it. But for some reason, you don't want to do it here with this person. So there's a reason for that. Honestly, I'm getting fear. You don't know what you don't know, right? Like, you don't know the outcome of you stepping into these feelings that you need to step into in order to be clear about what you want and out of love. What if you come out with the fact, like, okay, you're clear on what you want, and this person is completely open and completely in line with that? You know, it's not like if by you doing this, you're going to lose this person altogether. And if you come out and you know what you want and this person is not that person, then this person is not that person, and that's okay. There's an element of holding on and staying trapped. And unfortunately for you, I don't think you're going to stay trapped all month. I think something happens out of nowhere that is going to break you off of this feeling. If it is you that is feeling that and not someone else. Again, my only advice, stay in this baseline here. Come from love. Come from a higher divine self that you are. Stay high. This is not a month to be down. This is not a month to be dark. This is not a month to be in the depths. This is a month to be high, and try to stay as high as you can for this month of June. With this whole Sagittarius, you know, full moon energy that we have no business going into the darkness this month at all. This is not a dark month for Scorpio. Don't turn it into it. Don't force it into a dark month. There's no reason. You have to have a conversation with someone, have the conversation with someone, and that's it. And see what happens out of it. There's a need for it. The universe is telling you there's a need for it. And if you don't do it from this place up here, the universe is going to do it for you. And then what? You're going to be caught off guard and you're not going to be prepared. So prepare yourself. All right. This is all I have for the month of June. Scorpio, I so appreciate your time and energy listening to the reading. If you got any insight or, any perspective on your situation out of it, please like the video. And if you're interested in seeing your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other signs, I am almost done with the rest of the zodiac. Take a look at those videos as well and subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you follow me on this journey, with these readings here on YouTube. So have a wonderful month of June. You're in an excellent, powerful, high vibing place. So congratulations there. And we will see each other again on the next one. Thank you so much.